Hello, my name is Mitya, and today I'm going to show you how to use OSC messaging in Unreal Engine. I'll be using Lightact media server, which works with Unreal. So let's get to it. I already have a first-person template open, and what I'll want to do is I'll want to create an actor that will move based on the OSC messages. So let's create a new actor. Let's name it OSC mover. And let's open it and let's create a sphere so we'll be able to see where the actor actually is. And let's change the material to, let's say, this one, so it's yellow, so it's easier to see which one it is. Now, what we'll want to do is first store the initial location of the actor into a variable. So let's type in get actor relative, get actor location. Great. And promote to variable init location. Yep. Now what we'll want to do is we'll want to set the actor location in every frame. So let's type in set actor location. Great. And connect it like this. Perfect. And then we'll want to use the initial location and add a vector to it in every frame, that is. And this vector will be made by, will be made by all zeros and OSC Z value. Great, so let's talk about how we'll be getting the OSC values. I'll be using my smartphone and the OSC app called Touch OSC, and I'll be using this rotary slider to send values to first Lightact, which will then send these values to Unreal Engine. So let's open Lightact. In Lightact, you should open the devices window, which I already have open here. You can also press F7. And once there, you right click and hover over OSC and insert a OSC server. You first have to, of course, set the port number. I'm going to type in 30261. Great. And let's call it OSC Unreal Server. Perfect. And let's check listening. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer. I double click it. And we need to create an OSC listener. Perfect. And the value I'll be getting from my smartphone is a float, and I think it's from 0 to 1. We'll see. So I'm gonna click on add float, and I'm going to add float reader, so I'll be able to see what the value is. And I'm going to create a float setter, which doesn't really do anything except that it makes these two nodes live. The last thing you need to do is in the OSC listener, you need to type in the address, the OSC address of the control, of that rotary control. So I'm going to type in, I already know this. I'm going to type in this thing, /3/rotary1. And in the parent device, you need to select the OSC server node that you created in the devices window. So if I move my OSC slider in the app, you see that the values range from 0 to 1. Perfect. Unreal. Now we have to take care that Lightact will send this value to Unreal Engine, and the way you do it is that first you open the devices window again, and in the you right click and add a JSON sharer. The way Lightact communicates with Unreal is by shared memory, and it packages the variables in a JSON format. So let's change the name to height OSC and leave this as it is. And the only thing we need to do is add, or actually let's change vars to UE, it's better. And you need to enable the streaming checkbox. Now we go back to the layer that we created and add a JSON, what's the name? Shared memory sender. And you connect it and you will be sending a float value. So we need to add a float and type in height OSC and connect it like this. And we also need to select the parent device on our shared memory sender, and that is JSON memory sharer. Whenever I am moving the slider on my smartphone, this value is getting written into shared memory, and the only thing that's left for us to do is to go back to Unreal Engine and make sure that this value is read from shared memory. Now, in order to make this work, you need a plugin, Lightact plugin, and the link is available in the description below, and it's this one. And what it does is it adds a few nodes in the Lightact category, and we'll need this one right now. So you connect it and you type in the same values you typed in Lightact, which are in the devices window. Handle name is vars to UE and reserved byte is 1024. So let's type this into the Unreal Engine, and 1024. Great. So as I mentioned, we are reading JSON and the values get output to I'm going to first use the branch just in case and use a find node. So now we have to find the height OSC in the string map. So I type in height OSC and again use another branch just to be sure, because this branch is actually quite important, because Lightact and Unreal Engine don't have necessarily the same frame rates. So sometimes you will get a false find, but if you use this and perhaps some interpolation or something based on whatever you're trying to do, you won't have any problems. So we are receiving, as I mentioned, a float value. So let's convert this float string to float, and we'll be using a multiply because the incoming OSC value is only from 0 to 1. So let's type in maybe 20, and let's set OSC value like this and like this. So what this should be doing is it should read the shared memory from Lightact and find the height OSC parameter, change it to convert it to float, multiply it by 20, and then set this parameter, set this variable with this value basically. Okay, so let's see what happens. So let's change the, I'm moving the slider. Okay, this is really not moving a lot. So let's stop it and open it a bit more and maybe type in 100. Great, play. And now I'm moving the slider again and we see that the ball is moving